Today's episode of Mark 42's Universe is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/Marku42. There are over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. You lucky guys. That's www.audibletrial.com/Marku42.
Hi, my name is Christopher-Dane. I played McKean in Kill the Moon, and I'll be speaking to you on Marku 42.
Welcome to Marku 42's Universe, Doctor Who Universe, that is. I'm your host, Mark-Baumgarten, and with me, as always, are the ever-lovely
Trish-helm.
And the man in yellow, also known as Eduardo-m-Freyre.
And I'm the ever-lovely, too, as well.
The ever-lovely. Well, yes, you're lovely. You're a lovely gentleman.
Yes. And I'm Christian-basel, the ever-lovely.
Ever-lovely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway. Hi.
Oh, Lord.
Welcome to Marku 42's Universe here on Krypton Radio and streaming across the web on your downloads and your podcast thingies. We've got a great show for you.
Very high tech. Very high tech.
Download
on the podcast thingies and the webs and the
all those fun interwebby kind of computery.
All that little and on that little bookie face and tweeter and whatnot.
Yeah,
are these all technical terms?
Yeah,
right?
we've got a great show for you today. We've got our final well, hopefully, maybe not final because in the future we may have more. But the final of our trifecta of Kill the Moon actors, we've got Christopher-Dane on the show today. He played... Who did he play exactly, Christian?
Played ground control.
Oh, okay, Ed, you can tell us.
Because I had that information in front of me.
Ah, is that the case? So Major Tom did ground control. That's a good joke you made there, Christian. But, we could make stupid jokes from David Bowie's career anytime we wanted to. And we don't want to. We want to go to...
To go to Doctor Who News with our Doctor Who correspondent, Patricia Helm. Patricia, do you think I am not a David Bowie fan because I only own the album Changes 1?
Changes.
Ground control to Patricia Helm.
Stop it, both of you. It's time for the news. Take it serious.
Well, we're never serious. What the heck?
If anyone needs me, I'll be listening to the Labyrinth soundtrack.
Great. He's dissed you for the news for something
He's
else.
not listening to you, Trish.
Oh, Trish.
He's not. The announcer's not happy with your news reporting. I don't know why.
It's hard to compete with David Bowie's pants in that movie, isn't it?
And on that note, let's go to... It's time for news with Patricia Helm.
You be silent. It's not your job. It's my job, and I already did it. Don't try to take my job. Shame on you.
And now the news with David Bowie's pants.
Oh. Trish, what's going on in the world of Doctor Who?
Or David Bowie's pants.
And David Bowie's pants.
Well, maybe David Bowie's pants will be in Series 9 of Doctor Who.
Stranger things have happened on Doctor Who.
Well, with Mark Gatiss writing a story.
Exactly.
That might work them in.
That could be it.
Yeah. So Mark Gatiss...
It's been 6 months since Robots of Sherwood.
Oh, you mean he should be dead?
Should we check on Will Scarlet? Somebody go
check
on
Will Scarlet, or is that the guy who played the lute?
Alan Adale?
Alan Adale, yeah.
Yeah.
Alan Adale.
Somebody should go check on both of them.
Get your significant others right there.
Yeah.
Well, Mark Gatiss, he's been confirmed as writing an episode for Series 9.
So Mark Gatiss, who we were just talking, Robot of Sherwood, that's kind of funny.
Yes.
That kind of tied in there somehow.
Yes. Very little's being said. All he has to say about it is that it has been a tough nut to crack, but I'm delighted with how scary it is. I can't say any more than that. So he's writing a scary episode.
In David Bowie's pants.
Yeah. So, yeah. David Bowie's pants.
Maybe it's about the Doctor trying to get out of his current cable contract and switch to...
No, it's the Doctor putting on David Bowie's pants. That's the horror.
Ooh, Claire will not be able to resist him.
No. Oh, I hope not.
Because hey, he'll be doing the dance, magic dance.
The forbidden dance.
I'm trying to reference Labyrinth.
I know, and I'm trying to go towards the lambada.
Ugh.
Trish, the news.
Trish news.
I think Trish summed it up best. Ugh.
So on April 1st, Titan Comics is going to be releasing the first issue of a 5-part Ninth Doctor story. It's going to also have Rose Tyler and Captain Jack Harkness in it.
Oh, wow.
And it's going to be called Weapons of Past Destruction. The story behind it is, leaving World War II behind, the Ninth Doctor, Rose, and Captain Jack discover that Time Lord technology, lost in the wake of the Time War, is being sold on the intergalactic black market. Now the threat of a new temporal war brews on the horizon. Can the Doctor stop history repeating itself?
Oh, so this picks up right after the Doctor dances, obviously.
There was an amount of time between Dr. Dances and Boomtown, and they did indicate that 3 of them had a lot of adventures, so it's cool that Titan's pulling the trigger and showing us what 1 or 2 of those were.
Cool. I can't wait to read it. I'm a big fan of the comics. Looking forward to this.
Trish, I think we got to do a comic shop run. I saw the article that had the preview, and I'm like, oh, good God. How many comic covers do you need for 1 issue? Yeesh. It's like, hey, exclusive cover if you get it from here, an exclusive cover if you get it from here, 2 exclusive covers if you get it from here. Oh, and if you buy it from here on this date, you get this exclusive cover, which has a picture of John Barrowman in just pants. I mean, it's like, God, make an issue.
David Bowie's pants.
David Bowie's pants,
David Bowie's pants. Get right.
Oh, so on to a little more serious note.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
See how serious we can get. So over in the UK, they do the Red Nose Day.
Yeah, comic relief. Comic
relief, to help in Africa. And previously, Doctor Who, they usually do some kind of comedy skit, a little short mini-sode type of thing.
Right.
Well, this year they didn't. Peter-Capaldi actually went to Africa and filmed a bit for comic relief.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to air with... I believe that it comes on tonight.
No, it was on Friday. It was on Friday night. It was on Friday night last week.
That's right.
Yeah, it was. Oh God, it was long. Oh, you had to sit there for but it was funny. But you had to sit there for like 8 hours. Oh yeah.
But no, Capaldi's thing was Capaldi's thing was it funny or was it? Or
no, it was serious. It was one of the little shorts that they do publicizing what the charity is for.
You donate money. This is what it's going to.
Yeah.
These are the people that it's helping. Okay, so it wasn't haha. I'm the doctor.
Oh,
haha.
It wasn't haha in the slightest.
Yeah. But it's a great charity, and if you want to donate, you should go to rednoseday.com.
Definitely.
Well, shall we move on to birthdays?
We actually have birthdays this week? People were born?
Well, we had 2 that we missed, actually, last week. So, yeah, and they were kind of big ones.
I keep saying we're missing stuff. I don't know. Okay, who do we miss?
Well, March 11th, it was John Barrowman and Alex Kingston's birthday.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That's kind of a big
one to miss. That's a very big one to miss.
In my defense again.
In your defense again.
We did, okay.
We have to go in, you're...
Because this is the thing. Well, first of all, you let me handle all the birthdays, but secondly, we did post something about it a year ago.
And they don't have the same birthday.
Well, no, they do. They do. It's just that here's the thing, okay? You put me in charge of the birthdays. I've been trying to keep a list of everything, and I have to figure out what birthdays did we post notices just on Facebook and what ones also are on the website.
Right.
So I got to figure that out because I really don't want to do the exact same article over and over again every single year.
I don't want to do the same article every year.
Exactly.
Either.
So sometimes it gets a little confusing and things will slip through the cracks, but I'm in the process of trying to have everything nice and organized so that, especially when we get to the big ones, we can figure something to do every year so that, it can be special other than just giving them the same virtual card every single year. But apologies to John Barrowman and Alex Kingston. Although to John Barrowman, I got to say, if you have any intentions of playing both sides, stay away from Trish. To quote Zero from the movie Grand Budapest Hotel, no flirting.
Okay.
Yeah, so next on the list, on March 20th, is John Delancey. He played Alan Shapiro in Torchwood Miracle Day, and for every other sci-fi geek in the world, he played Q on Star Trek Next Generation.
Yeah, and for any other weird sci-fi kid, he's on My Little Pony, isn't he?
Yeah, he plays a dragon.
Yeah, I'm just saying, the bronies, there are bronies who listen to our shows, so
but we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about it, but...
Well, hey, to any My Little Pony fan who's also Whovian, yes, John Delancey is the voice of Discord. So, happy birthday to Discord. And actually, something that I want to bring up, since it's his birthday and it also ties into the passing of Leonard Nimoy, the two of them did do something together, a project called Alien Worlds.
Yes.
Audios of old stuff like Journey to the Center of the Earth, The Time Machine, old sci-fi novels. And they actually did them kind of like radio plays. I remember the Sci-Fi Channel actually did 1 or 2 specials where it was Delancey, Leonard Nimoy, and some other people who have done Star Trek actually getting together in front of an audience and doing this radio play style. When I watched those, I thought that was the coolest thing I ever saw. And I was saddened to hear that the project kind of fizzled out, that they couldn't get enough money to back it, and the publishers they were working with said, hey, we just can't keep doing this unless you guys want to spend all this time pitching and, getting money. And Delancey was just like, I'm not in this to be a salesman. So, it's sad because it was an awesome project, and I almost feel like tracking down some of the audios because that was just really cool.
Do we have any other birthdays that we missed or that are coming up?
Coming up on March 21st, Natalie, and I hope I get her last name right, Jumidi. She played Ashley Carter in Last Christmas.
Oh.
So we just watched.
Last Christmas.
And
yeah, you know what?
I will not play the song this time in the closing credits. Don't worry.
Well, no, this is something. Something. When I researched her for the birthdays, I actually found out the actress was a runner-up in the competition show Strictly Come Dancing.
Oh.
So it kind of makes me wonder, nothing against Faye Massey and Shona, but should they have then sent in Ashley Carter? I don't know. Or maybe have the two of them partner up in a dance?
And finally, on March 23rd, we have Joanna Page, who played Queen Victoria in Day of the Doctor. And she was also in Love Actually.
Queen Victoria in Day of the Doctor? Wasn't it Queen Elizabeth?
Oh, you're right. It was Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah, Queen Victoria was in Tooth and Claw.
Oops, wrong one.
Royalty right there.
Oh, well, you know what? We're American. We don't have to know British history.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
What?
But I at least knew it and was able to correct it. So there we go.
Sorry, Queen Elizabeth I.
Yeah, the Virgin Queen, who may or may not have been thanks to David Tennant.
Lucky girl.
Lucky.
and hey, she got to hook up with David Tennant in Day of the Doctor, and she got to hook up with Martin Freeman in Love Actually. So, in a sense, she got to hook up with both Bilbo and Dr. Watson.
Wasn't Martin Freeman completely Starkers in Love Actually?
They were both Starkers.
Yeah.
I gotta say, when I did the little birthday shout-out, I decided to find like a Love Actually picture. It was a mission to find one
with their
of
clothes
Joanna
on.
Page's character with a lot of it were the scenes of them at work, and it's like, I'm like, I can't use this. I can't.
Not safe for work Facebook page.
Yeah. And we're not a not safe for work operation, but I did find
we're very safe. We're safe for human consumption.
Okay. We're edible?
Yeah, edible. Definitely.
Are we going into Soylent Green territory here,
Yes,
Mark?
we are.
Mark Who 42, the first edible radio show.
Yeah.
But are we gluten-free?
We are gluten-free, actually.
But we're obviously meat, so
yeah, we are.
sorry.
Yeah, we're not vegan.
Sorry,
vegan.
vegans.
Sorry,
man.
But the gluten-free can enjoy the show.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
Where are we going?
We'll try to come up with a vegetarian option.
Okay. Trish, do we have any more news or birthdays?
Nope, that is it for today.
That's it. Wow. Hey, guys, can we do something today? I want to talk about the 10th anniversary of Doctor Who. We're going to be having a special show next week where we're going to talk all about the 10th anniversary because it's coming up. It's the 26th of March, Easter Saturday, back in 2005. New Who is really good. I really love it. Do you think that old Who really paved the way for New Who, or could New Who have come from nowhere?
Okay, if I could answer that question, there could be no New Who without old Who. I mean, no offense to New Who, and, I'll gush more about it when we do the actual episode, but yeah, you could have not had New Who.
Because, it is a completely different show.
I think this is stuff we need to, table for next week, but I would say no.
I would
it's
disagree.
Another evolution.
You would didisagree?
I would disagree, because I had not seen any old Who when I started watching, and I immediately got sucked in and enjoyed the heck out of New Who. And then, I went back and I saw some of the old stuff, and that stuff's pretty good too. But definitely, I think the show, if it had just started with Chris Eccleston, I still think it would have been a hit.
Okay.
And I'm going to disagree with you, but we'll do that for the next show.
Oh, yeah, definitely. This is just a taste.
We'll table this.
Not even tabled. This was just a little preview of what we'll be discussing on next week's show, the 10th anniversary of New Who. So don't forget to listen in next week. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we've got our interview with Christopher-Dane, the ground control person on Kill the Moon from last season's Doctor Who. We'll be right back.
Ground control to David Bowie's pants.
What is it with you and David Bowie's pants?
We'll be right back.
You realize he's married to Amon, the supermodel, right?
All right. Maybe we won't be right back. Maybe we'll just keep staying with us. We'll be right back for sure.
So who's his pants married to?
Attention all Whovians! While you're waiting for the new episode of Doctor Who, start your own adventures with a book from Mark Who 42 Books. They carry unique and rare books at affordable prices. Visit amazon.com/shops/markwho42. That's amazon.com/shops/markwho42. Mark Who 42 Books. Set your imagination free into the Whoniverse.
To Cybertron.
Thank you, Soundwave. I am TFG1 Mike, and you should be listening to my very first podcast, the TFG1 Podcast. 24 episodes covering the entire U.S. run of the 1984 Transformers cartoon. Also a few supplemental episodes and an interview with Stan Bush. So check out the TFG1 Podcast. You can find it on iTunes and the web at www.geekcast-radio.com. Transform and roll out.
To Dr. Geek's Moment of Science. Here is the lab director and your human host, Dr. Geek.
Claire, you're early for our meeting.
Actually, Geek, you're late.
A scientist is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
So you meant to arrive 20 minutes after the start of our meeting?
Well, no. Ever since we changed the clocks, we've been having problems. It seems Deus has taken offense to the whole concept of daylight savings time, and she declared the clocks would no longer be turned backward and forward throughout the year. As a result, she refused to change the clock over the weekend, and every time we manually do it, she overrides it. She now has us on what she calls Deus Mean Time, and it's causing quite a lot of confusion.
I'll bet. And the last thing this lab needs is more confusion.
It could be worse.
Explain.
She once threatened to put us on the equivalent of the Roman water clock time. At least she's not trying to do that.
What on earth is that, and why would it be a problem?
Glad you asked. The ancient Romans used a system of telling time, which measured time by the regulated flow of water into a vessel where it can be measured.
So, like a sand timer, but with water?
Sort of. The thing is, they would use different measures during different seasons. They believed in breaking up the daylight into 12 hours. The only problem is, the sun shines longer in the summer than in the winter. So, hours would actually be longer in the summer than in the winter. On the winter solstice, a Roman hour would be 44 minutes, and on the summer solstice, a Roman hour would be 75 minutes.
Not all hours are created equal.
Precisely. Well, rather not so precisely. Most of our ancestors had a much more flexible idea of time. It wasn't until the advent of the railroads that people had to devise a system to record time more accurately.
Which worked just fine until your computer decided to take offense at a system thought up by Benjamin Franklin.
Actually, it was George Vernon Hudson of New Zealand and William Willett of England who are owed the credit for coming up with the concept of daylight savings time, not Franklin.
Huh. I guess you learn something new every day. I'm not here to learn, though. I'm here to discuss our latest project idea. And now I have grave concerns, since it is very time-sensitive in nature.
I promise I'll get Deus to cooperate.
I hope so, Geek. For your sake. The committee is not as forgiving as I am.
This moment of science was brought to you by Dr. Geek's Laboratory of Applied Geekdom, a Brazen Wench production, copyright 2014, in association with this network. Join the adventure. Download the full Labcast at www.drgeeklab.com and follow us at facebook.com/drgeeklab and twitter.com/drgeeklab.
Tooncast is dedicated to the cartoons we grew up with. 100 episodes and more make up one of the GCRN's most popular podcasts. Join hosts TFG and Mike, Optimus Solo, Terror the Rising Star, and tons of guest hosts. We also have voice actor and writer interviews. Tune in to Tooncast as we look back on the cartoons that defined us as geeks. You can find Tooncast on iTunes and the web at www.geekcast-radio.com. Tune in.
Hi, this is Jason Connery, and you're listening to Mark Who 42 Whoniverse. Listen and learn more.
Hey, gang, welcome back to Mark Who 42's Whoniverse, Doctor Who Whoniverse, that is. And no, do not adjust your radio. This is Christian hosting this segment, and I would like to introduce the very versatile and very talented Mr. Christopher-Dane.
Hello there.
Excellent. Now, if you're not familiar with Chris Dane's work, he actually, on Doctor Who, was McKeen. Now, can you explain the character and the role that you played in Kill the Moon?
I can indeed, yeah. McKeen is kind of, well, everybody's obviously seen the episode, so you know it all takes place on the moon. But McKeen is actually the only character who's off the moon. He's down on poor Earth, where things are not looking particularly well. They've sent up the mission to kind of save humankind, and he's the unfortunate guy who sits at the control panel trying to get hold of this space mission that seems to have gone completely AWOL. And at the end of the episode, he finally gets through. I think they're patched into some commercial satellites, which are the only ones sort of still operational, and he finally gets hold of the moon base and actually provides really the kind of the end of the episode, because as you all know, there is an appeal to Earth as to whether you should kill the moon or not. And McKeen is kind of the pivotal character who provides this link so they can sort of talk to Earth. So that's basically what my character was doing.
Now, interesting enough, I just had a quick question about that because I didn't even think about it until now. Do you think McKeen left the light on or shut the light off when the planet's asked to turn off the light? Or do you think he was just in the bathroom and accidentally left the light on?
Yeah, well, maybe. That's a really good question. I hadn't thought of what he would do. I think thinking about what his situation is, he's sitting there in mission control and there's floods and everything going on around him. I think he probably would have said, yeah, let's get rid of this thing and see what happens.
Okay, so you heard it here first. McKeen has said,
McKeen, yeah.
We have shut off the lights. Although that must have made very hard to go.
I do have a question, though, a big question regarding your character.
Uh-huh.
To the best of my recollection, because I saw the episode 2 or 3 times, I don't remember McKeen's name being said on air, and I could swear looking through the credits at the end of the episode, it's simply listed as Mission Control. Where did the name McKeen come from? Was that in the script? Was there a line in the script that actually had his name, that you actually said, this is McKeen down at Mission Control?
There isn't a line. Nobody sort of mentions his name, but his name is in the script. And if you look at the IMDb credits, he's listed as McKeen.
Right, that's where I got it from. On IMDb, before the episode came out, and Wikipedia in places, it said McKeen.
Yeah, I don't know why in the credits it's changed to Mission Control. I mean, that is what he is, but he is a named character, definitely, yeah.
Now, when you filmed your scenes, were you being fed lines, or were you interacting with the actual actors? How did they do that?
Well, that's a really good question, because obviously he is not on the moon, as I said, so he's back on Earth. And when I got the part, I thought, I might just be filmed on some green screen somewhere in London in a broom cupboard or something like that. and then sort of projected onto a screen when they actually filmed the scene. And I was like, that means I will never meet the other actors. I'll never meet the Doctor and all that sort of thing. But actually, well, interestingly enough, what they did was they brought me down to Cardiff, where they film all the stuff, and there was the big set of the moon base, and on the other side of this moon base they built a little set for me, so I had my own personal set, which I was quite happy about. And so I was actually sitting there just like a few yards or few meters away from Hermione Norris that I'm talking to in the show. So I was talking into a camera, and I could see on a small screen under the camera, I could see her, and then she could see me. So we were linked up live.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So it was a strange thing, because I couldn't obviously see her in person. So it was not like doing a normal scene where there's two actors and they're, standing right next to each other and talking. But in a strange way, it felt the same. So we did the scene, 6, 7, 8 times, I think. And we were both able to, if she did something slightly different, I was able to adjust to it, which was great sort of feeling, both hopefully for her and for me. Because if it had just been, sort of pre-recorded my section and played back to her, she would just get the exact same reaction from me every time. Whereas this time, if she hesitated a little bit or emphasized a different word and that meant something to me or to my character, then I could kind of adjust to it. So it was really great. And obviously being on set was very big experience for me.
You're a Whovian, I guess?
Well, yeah. In a sense, I can remember, way back when I was a kid, I remember watching Doctor Who. I wasn't a massive fan, I must admit. I saw the shows and they were good fun. It was kind of when the show was sort of relaunched when they put Eggleston in. And I started sort of paying attention to it again because it's like, oh, this is interesting. It's Doctor Who, but there's a guy running around in a leather jacket and with a northern accent, which was quite different as well.
A lot of planets have a north.
That's kind of when I sort of started tuning into the show again and became a really big fan when David Tennant took over. So I must admit my Doctor is David. I admire him really as an actor, but what he sort of brought to the character was this childish curiosity and excitement, and at the same time he could sort of, at a flick of a switch, he could become really serious, and you sort of believe both elements of it. And I thought for me that was when it really sort of caught my imagination again, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant. I think my favorite line or my favorite bit about his sort of his Doctor, his time in the TARDIS was when he was just about to leave, and he's sort of standing there and he's feeling the regeneration coming on, and he just says, I don't want to go. And when I sort of heard that line and saw his face up, he almost sort of broke into tears because what he did was he brought this almost human quality to the Doctor. And for that line particularly, I thought, well, maybe both as the actor David Tennant and as the Doctor, he didn't want to go at that particular point in time. But what I thought was interesting about that line was that he kind of brought this thing in that this particular version of the Doctor knew that he was going to die, going to disappear. Even though he was going to regenerate, he knew that this particular version. And I thought that was quite a human element to bring into the whole series. And that's quite poignant to me.
I would say at least 2 billion fangirls joined you in that little tear session.
I did. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Took me a week to recover.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that was quite something.
Week. I know some women who are still in psychological therapy at this moment. Probably will never get out.
You got to get over it eventually.
Thank God for that, yeah.
They probably almost were over it, and then David Tennant came back in Day of the Doctor, and it's like, it just brought it all back. Especially because the last thing he said in Day of the Doctor was, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Now, Chris, you said you grew up old school Doctor, but you think David is your Doctor. Who did you grow up old school with?
Well, I'm struggling to, I think it was Baker, basically.
Okay, Colin or Tom?
Oh, it was Tom.
Okay.
And I think he made an impression, whether you liked him or not, I think, just because of the way he was. It was, I think his character was the most, in a sense, sort of crazy. And when you saw him, it was like, oh, I have no idea what's coming next, So that was quite an exciting character. Right. But as I said, I wasn't a major fan of the old stuff. I saw it, I watched it, and but it sort of stayed at that. But yeah, when I got really into it was with David. So yeah, even though I'm slightly old school, I think I'm new school with because of David.
Awesome.
How did you get into acting?
Well, I had a different career altogether about 15 years ago. I was in advertising, and I was actually an art director in an advertising agency. But as we all know, there's way too much money in advertising. So I thought, no, I'll leave that behind, and I'll become a poor, unemployed actor. So yeah, no, it was basically because I've always sort of been slightly creative, so doing designs and drawings and stuff like that was one of the things I did at school, and I did some acting as well. So when I left school, it was clear to me that it would be one of those two things that I wanted to do, and sort of simultaneously went for drama schools and went for some jobs in advertising, and got a job in advertising, and thought, hey, that's great, that's 1 out of 2. I can make a hobby into a career, and sort of did that for for about 15 years. But the acting part of me sort of kept coming up. I didn't do any acting for those 15 years, but kind of the acting kept sort of coming up, saying, oh, what about me? What about this thing? And then you get to a certain age and you think, well, either I do something about it or I completely bury that idea. And I thought, why not? It would be brilliant to be able to do two of the things that I loved doing as a younger man. So in the end, I couldn't say no to this acting thing, and then just packed it all in the advertising industry and went to drama school for 3 years. And that was actually 15 years ago this year. Yeah.
Very cool.
Happy anniversary of turning into a starving artist.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, it's going all right.
We'll have a party, but we're gonna have to do it on the cheap.
Yeah, I'll drink some tea now and then. Yeah.
Now, Chris,
I'll be the party for now. But yeah, then basically sort of started from scratch. Went to drama school in Liverpool and did 3 years there, and then came down to London after that. So I've been working and living in London ever since.
Now, you've done some voiceover work.
Yeah.
One of the credits I found was for a video game. I believe it's Total War Rome 2.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
You were just talking about your experience filming your scene for Kill the Moon. Mm-hmm. How was that compared to the voiceover work you did for the video game?
Well, very, very different, because for the video game, as a voiceover artist, you come in before they've actually created the characters, before they actually have created the game itself. So all you have is a bunch of lines, and they're normally, because of the whole nature of the game, which is like war and it's Roman stuff and barbarians and all that sort of thing, it's mainly shouting. So it's one of the very few voiceover sessions where you actually build up a sweat, because you're standing in this room that's completely isolated from the world and therefore slightly hot. And you're just in front of a microphone and you're jumping up and down and screaming and shouting these orders to imaginary soldiers everywhere. And then once you've done that for about half an hour and you're completely knackered, then they get you to do a lot of, okay, well, now you've been hit by an arrow and you're dying. You're not completely dying, but just dying a little bit. And then you do that a little bit, and then you get a spear in you, and then you're set on fire. And then
in the studio?
Well,
did they bother taking you out?
Since you're doing all this shouting, did they at least give you plenty of water so you're not destroying your throat? But
yeah, they give you a lot of water. They give you a lot of pineapple juice, which is really good. But at the same time, you can't actually shout for an hour without struggling with your voice afterwards. So it's absolutely crazy, but at the same time, it's really good fun. Because I think the most weird thing I had to do was they sort of describe this character. Okay, so this character is on a ship, and then he's hit by an arrow, like a fire arrow. So he's on fire, and then he jumps into the water and drowns.
So what does that? So what does that sound like?
Do you really want to know?
By the game.
It was a lot of high-pitched screaming and then sort of a bit of a pause when he jumps into the water, and then a lot of things going on. So now it's really good fun. I actually did another one last week, and I'm only just recovering. My voice is just coming back to fairly normal now. So it's great fun, but really hard work.
And I'm guessing you couldn't tell us about the one you did last week, can you?
Not really.
Ooh. Sworn of silence.
I think everybody in the studio is going, how would you like your Chris Dane? Would you like him deep fried or grilled?
Let's see, deep fried, grilled, in soup.
Blackened.
Rolled in tar and feathers and set alight. Yeah.
Now, Chris, for some people who might not be familiar with your body of work with voiceovers and such, what other forms of media and other shows or movies can our audience find you in?
Well, one of the easiest ways, really, to see something I'm in is I did a film about 5-6 years ago now that's called Born of Hope, and it's Lord of the Rings prequel. It's actually on YouTube, and so if you go on YouTube and just type in Born of Hope, then you can watch the film. It's there for free. It's been viewed about 30 million times now.
Wow.
So we're not doing too badly. And I play, many of your listeners will be familiar with The Lord of the Rings, obviously, and I play Aragorn's father, Arathorn. And it's a story, it's sort of a prequel story to The Lord of the Rings, as in it's about where Aragorn really came from. It's about how his parents met, he was born, growing up, and how he ends up with Elrond in Rivendell.
Oh.
Wow.
So,
I gotta watch that.
Trish, I think we have our next movie night.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can see me with a lot longer hair than I had in Kill the Moon, because they gave me a military haircut, as you can probably remember, from Kill the Moon. But in Born of Hope, I've got really long hair. So yeah, it's quite a different character, obviously.
I actually was looking up information on Born of Hope.
Yeah.
And it lists you not only acting as Arathorn, but it also lists you as a writer, editor, and interestingly enough, the caterer. For the film, what
on earth is going on there?
Yeah, I got to admit that did strike me, because I have seen you have performers that also write and direct a film or a project, but I think this is the first time I've seen somebody also be a caterer.
I don't know how that credit actually ended up. I did feed a lot of people on that shoot. I mean, this is one of the things that if you're familiar with sort of low-budget independent productions, in which I've been in quite a few, everybody sort of has to do everything. And in this instance, yes, I did do a bit of the writing. I ended up becoming the editor by some random ways. And on one of the shoots, the catering sort of disappeared or never actually turned up. We had a weekend, and there was 25 people on set, being orcs and rangers and all sorts of things. And one thing that didn't turn up was the catering. And I think it was just that kind of thing that I had a couple of hours off, so I was the only one who could go to a supermarket and buy some stuff. So I ended up feeding 25 people for 3 days. And, it was good fun to do that as well. So not only playing the lead character, but actually feeding the cast and crew as well. It was an interesting thing.
Well, it's good to know that if something should happen on this acting thing, you have something to fall back on.
Absolutely.
If we ever do one of these big conventions and we host an event, we could have them do the catering.
We do that.
Catering by Christopher-Dane. Hey, you want to come to this Doctor Who party? Because we have Christopher-Dane doing the catering. McKean is catering.
Yeah.
I think, hey, if you want to start that as a side business, I think we got a title for his catering business, Mission Control Catering.
I like it.
There you go.
Oh
you think the BBC will let you use a screen cap of McKean as the logo?
I doubt it.
Maybe put like a little hat, like a little chef's hat or something on it.
Little chef's hat on him. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. See, we got something here.
I'm giving up this acting thing. I'm going straight into catering. That's for sure.
And the show has taken a new low.
Yeah, let's bring it back. Well, the other thing that you mentioned, apart from the catering, is sort of the writing, and the writing is a thing I'm getting more and more into. And I've just written a feature film that's actually been filmed and is being edited as we speak, basically. It's on IMDb as well, I think. It's called The Four Warriors. And so I've got my first sort of writing credit coming up in the new year. It's already been sold at the American film market in Los Angeles, I think in November. So, yeah, that's kind of another sideline. So, yeah, if the catering doesn't work out, then I'll move into the script writing as well.
I see that you've actually won an award.
Yeah.
For those who wouldn't be familiar, what award was it?
It was an award at the London Independent Film Festival in 2011, I think. And it was for a film that's called Being Sold. And the interesting thing about that film was that it's a full feature film, so it's sort of 80 minutes long, I think. And we shot it in 2 days. And for those of you sort of familiar with filmmaking, that's quite quick. So yeah, it was an incredible experience as an actor, really, because normally when you're on set, like if you take my small part in Doctor Who, I was on site at sort of 6:30 in the morning, and at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that's when we started filming my scene. So there's a lot of waiting.
Yeah, hurry up and wait. I'm all too familiar with that.
Yeah. It was one of those things, in my communication with the BBC before, it was like, you must be on set. We're sending a car, so we're sure that you'll be on set at 6:30, don't be late and all that sort of thing. And then you turn up and there's a little bit of hoo-ha, and then you sit for 6 hours and wait. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Hurry up and wait. Yep, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how it is, and that's sort of how it has to be, really, because there's so many technical things, lighting and sound and all that sort of thing has to happen. But on this film, the Being Soul film that I won the Best Actor award for, it was the opposite. It was like you turned up at 6:30 and you had half an hour to get into makeup and costume, and then apart from half an hour lunch break, we were filming constantly for 2 days, basically. Obviously, the script had been written to suit it, so the first day was an interior in a house, and the second day was the exterior of the same house. You couldn't do Exodus or whatever on that kind of thing in 2 days. But this film was sort of kind of created for it. But it just meant that it was, instead of being there for 12 hours and maybe acting for half an hour, you were there for 12 hours and acted for 11 and a half hours. So it was almost like being in a play. We just went from one scene to the next. There was 2-3 cameras on each scene, so picking up close-ups and 2 shots and that all the time. And I think that's actually on iTunes. So if anybody's interested out there, I think it's very cheap to rent on iTunes.
Cool.
Now, Chris, we found you on Twitter, but is there any other media presence that our audience could find you besides on your Twitter page like we did?
YouTube, there's a few things on YouTube. I think they've got my showreel on YouTube as well and stuff like that, so you can do that. But apart from that, I've got my own website, which is christopher-dane.com, so you can find me there. There's a few things. I'm in the process of updating it with a few new clips and stuff like that, but that's probably the best way to find me.
Awesome.
Now, would you ever come back to Doctor Who? Maybe not playing McKean, but another character?
I would absolutely love to. Yeah, that's probably the good thing about McKean. He's a small character, so I could come back. If I was a bigger character over a couple of episodes or something, they probably wouldn't bring me back. But yeah, I would love to. It's one of those shows that, as you know, it's iconic here in the UK and increasingly so in the States as well. It's been here for 50 years, and it's something that's a bit of phenomenal. And just to have it on your CV is a great thing. And I would absolutely love to do more, because I'm a huge fan of sci-fi in general and fantasy in general. So it's definitely the sort of thing that I'm looking to get into. Stuff like Game of Thrones, Doctor Who, that kind of thing.
If they were to call you back for Doctor Who, would you either A, want to be someone related to McKean, like maybe a son or something like that?
We're not going to go through that parallel dimension.
Well, or here's the other thing, or would you actually want to be put in alien makeup and be like maybe an alien character that the Doctor runs into?
Of those two options, I would prefer to be my own son. Yeah.
He runs a catering company in the UK.
No, he runs a catering company on the moon.
He
runs a catering company on the moon.
Chris, congratulations. This is the first time I'm hungry during one of our recording sessions.
You mentioned Game of Thrones. Would you actually want to do that?
Yeah, it's one of those. It's on my list because I am a huge fantasy fan, and one of the things I've actually been doing for the last 4 months is me and my girlfriend, who's a director, we've created our own web series that is a fantasy series. We're just getting into post-production, so we're trying to, create our own stuff like that. It's a series called Ren, and it's REN, and you can find that on rentheseries.com. There's a website as well. And it's one of those things that the film that I wrote, The Four Warriors, is sort of historical fantasy, and it's that kind of thing that I like as an actor. You get to dress up in armor and stuff like that, run around with swords and do a lot of fighting and stuff. That's kind of what I enjoy. And I think something like Game of Thrones has really sort of paved the way for high quality fantasy stuff on TV and films as well. It's just, heightened the standard, I think. And to be a part of that kind of show is definitely top of my list.
Now, here's the thing, though. Mm-hmm. If you do Game of Thrones, would you want your character to live? I mean, because Game of Thrones, it's the casualty list for any given book or season is huge.
Yeah,
and I think we'd have an easier time coming up with a smaller list of who's still around than.
I think you're right. Yeah. But I think that's one of the things that makes it really exciting, that you never know. You invest in a character and you think, oh, yeah, this is one of the guys or girls they're going to stay around. And then you blink and all of a sudden that character's dead. And you're like, what happened there? I would love to stay alive for just at least a couple of seasons, maybe.
Just 2 seasons. Just 2 seasons.
We'll just make it at least a little lucrative out there.
There you go. I mean, if anybody from Game of Thrones is listening, hire Christopher-Dane and at least let him live 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Give him 2 seasons.
2 seasons. Well, interesting enough, talking about Game of Thrones, in The Four Warriors, the film that I wrote, we actually had the guy who plays Hodor in Game of Thrones, and he was there. So we had a good little chat about where the show was going, and he was as puzzled as anybody, as in, the show is sort of catching up with the writing now. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But, yeah. He was doing a guest appearance on the film, so that was pretty cool.
According to what I've heard, Winds of Winter is almost here. Almost here. Like, it's almost here. He's just wrapping up a couple of things. It's like, well, come on. Come on, George. Come on, keep writing.
Come on, keep going.
Keep going. Yeah. No. Don't stop to do an interview. Keep writing.
You've locked him in a dark room with a computer. That's
Oh, don't tempt. I think there are a lot of Game of Thrones fans who will hear this and be like, actually.
Just put him in a pit and lower the laptop to him in a basket.
Well, we do that. I'll do the catering, give him a little. I think we got it sorted there. I think we got it down.
And I guess I'll speak on behalf for Stephen Moffat. I said, Stephen, bring Chris back, at least in the, he will be a great actor, and he'll bring you a bag of crisp every day. How's that sound?
There you go.
How's that? Yeah, that's a good deal. It's a fair deal, isn't it?
It's a fair deal. Is there anything else that you would like to address to our audience and let them know any future projects or anything that's coming up that we may have not addressed during the questionnaire?
Well, I think we sort of got around to most things and pitched a few of the things I'm in. The one thing I thought, I don't know if you think it could be interesting, but it's a bit of a challenge to your audience. I'm actually Danish, and I was just
on the last name.
Yeah, there's a bit of a clue in that. And I was just thinking, if I was actually the first and only Danish actor who's ever appeared in Doctor Who, that could be sort of a challenge to your listeners to figure that one out.
My,
because I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, but I don't know where that.
We have 51 years of actors. Not a big challenge to find out.
But someone.
And just go
if
on
someone
Google.
finds the answers, just email us.
Yeah,
just email us at mark@markwho42.com.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Send a text. Send a text.
Then it's subject line: Christopher-Dane is not alone.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to the new year. Welcome to 2015, and thank you. And from all of us here at Mark Who 42, have a great new year.
Thank you, and the same to you guys.
Thank you.
So that completes our trifecta. We've had all 3 male guest actors from Kill the Moon.
Hey, we could always be like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, say we're a trilogy, and then all of a sudden, part 4! We just need to, we'll get Hermione Norris on.
I would like to.
We have the actress who played Courtney, We could always keep it going, say we're a trilogy, and then be like, you loved us so much, we're going to have a part 4.
Definitely could.
But hopefully it won't tank like Johnny Depp's career. Yeah, I went there.
Oh,
I went there.
You did go there. Another guest who will not do our show.
Yeah, well, you know what? I give him partial blame for what happened to Lone Ranger.
I give him total blame for
So, you know what? I don't care. Man. I'm mad at...
he's really mad.
He's really mad.
I'm so mad I lost my headphones.
Ed, calm down. Calm yourself down and tell us about what you and Trish did last week.
You know what?
Careful.
Actually, you're right. Let's switch topics.
And let's be very careful because this is a safe for work show. Very careful.
But seriously, folks. Earlier you mentioned Red Nose Day and what Peter Capaldi did, but Trish and I, we were actually on March 14th. We did go to the Nugget, and we were there for the Roll a Crit against childhood cancer. I mentioned it on the last show, but yeah, Trish and I went. All the proceeds went to St. Baldrick's Foundation for Childhood Cancer. The organizer, Gavin Black, it was a great idea. It was get a bunch of people together, pay $10, and you spend the entire day jumping from table to table playing board games or playing D&D or playing Magic the Gathering. We were there pretty much all day, weren't we, Trish?
Yes, we were there from
like the whole day. Yeah.
Yeah, 11 to 5.
We actually helped because we brought Doctor Who Monopoly, Doctor Who Yahtzee. We also had on hand Cards Against Gallifrey, but we really didn't get a chance to play that because, well, there were kids in the room, and
yes,
yeah, it's not exactly family friendly.
It's apples to apples for depraved human beings. Basically, is what Cards Against Humanity or Gallifrey is.
Yeah, and people were playing. Mm-hmm. We ran into a couple of people who had been at Weekend TARDIS Reno, and they actually played Doctor Who Yahtzee. I would glance at the table, and there they are with the little TARDIS dice roller.
Cool.
Just having a good time. And we played a couple of games. We played a good one called Castle Panic. It was lots of fun. I actually looked it up on Amazon in the evening, and they have 2 expansions. And I was like, I just want to find out the price of this game. I found out 2 expansions, and I'm like, oh God. Already my wallet is glaring at me going, don't you dare. No, don't click the buy it now. No. You know how it is.
Yes.
You look at something on Amazon or eBay and you're like, oh yeah, I found it. And then you go, oh wait, and there's this too. And your wallet, or maybe the significant other who's holding the wallet, or your checkbook, they just stare at you and are like, don't do it.
Take my money.
Exactly. It's like, take my money. No, don't take his money. But getting back on track, it was a great event, and I got to give a shout out to Gavin Black for doing it. I got to give a shout out to the Nugget for hosting it. I got to give a shout out to all the people who donated and who helped sponsor the event. Scientific Games, Comic Kingdom, Mayfair Games, Merlin's Game Shop, everybody. I mean, this was great. This was using the powers of geekdom and fandom and putting them to really good use, putting them to a good cause. I just got to say kudos. And they do this again, and I'm there. I'm definitely there.
Yeah, I believe they said they were going to do it again. It was such a success that they're definitely going to do it again.
Oh, heck yeah. So, yeah, we're there. We are so there.
Christian, we have some news to tell the people out there, too. It's not a charity event, but it's a fun event coming up next month. Isn't that right?
Well, a bit of it is. And coming next month, April 10th, to the 12th, Friday through Sunday at the Orange County Convention Center, we're going to have MegaCon. And when I mean mega, I mean mega. We actually have companions from the series, Arthur Darvill, Karen Gillan, Jenna Coleman, and Alex Kingston.
That makes all of Matt Smith's companions.
All 4 companions are going to be there, and they have a special panel at MegaCon just to have 3 of the companions together talking on stage all at once. So we're talking mega. Mega is really an understatement of what's going on at MegaCon. And plus, of all things...
if you say mega one more time, I'm going to start thinking of the cartoon Captain N.
Well, that's the name of the con. MegaCon. Mega. Mega. But as I was just saying, we are going to be performing out there on Sunday. Right now, we are scheduled to be in room 206A from 1:25 to 2:15 p.m. Now, keep in mind, these times and dates are subject to change without notice and pending upon availability, but the 4 of us will be out there.
Well, who are the 4 of us? Because the 4 of us, I mean, they may not know because it's not Trish and Ed. It's not the 4 of us. It's not the 4 of us.
Well, okay. I've affectionately called them the Mark Who Florida alternate panel team.
Okay.
It's you, me, Patrick Hawkins, and Samantha Rose Barone will be out there, and we have a lot of surprises going on that day. So you definitely want to be out there to catch up, and it is part of admission into MegaCon. So come and see us on our panel. Definitely come and see the companions, but definitely come to see us.
And this is not just a Doctor Who convention. There are a lot of people coming to this convention. Stan Lee is going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't Ron Perlman going to be there?
Yeah, he's representing Sons of Anarchy.
Ron Perlman's going to be there, yeah. Firefly, a lot of Firefly people.
And Firefly is Summer Glau. Is that how you pronounce her name?
Summer Glau, yeah.
Summer Glau, the first river, from what I understand.
Wow, both rivers are there.
Both rivers are going to be there.
Well, actually, all 3 rivers are going to be there because Samantha's child is going to be there.
Oh, really? So we got a river of rivers going on that day.
I hope Samantha can get a picture with both River Tam and River Song at the same time, because that would break the internet.
Yeah. That would break the internet.
That would break the internet. Sam, if you're listening to this, try to get a picture with both of them at the same time. Break the internet, okay? You deserve it. You and Little River deserve it. Break the internet.
So if you haven't purchased your tickets already, I've heard they are now going fast now that all 4 companions are out there, www.megaconventions.com. You can also, any updates or questions, we have a special Facebook site. You can look up keyword Mark Who 42, The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS and the Geeks of Comedy. That should pull it up.
They got to put a lot of things down.
Yeah. It's an invite invitation. Of course, you can check out markwho42.net or our Facebook site for any updates, changes in times. But definitely come out and see us. I know our panel is going to be high energy. We're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to have a lot of surprises going on.
And Patrick's got his Geeks of Comedy. They've got 2 performances now.
Yes, they do.
Got 2 performances of comedy towards the geekdom of us.
And also, I'll speak for Patrick in this case. I know that the Geeks of Comedy are going to be sponsoring a group called the Hero Initiative. So definitely it's a charity. It's helping comic creators in need. So by all means, you can check them out on Facebook as well, Hero Initiative. Check them out and donate. But definitely come to the convention, and we may have something special going on in that route. We're still working out the logistics. Yeah. We're going to have a lot of things, and as always, as our panels, as our shows, there's going to be a lot of high energy Whovians geeking out with other Whovians.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. So that's April 10th through 12th is MegaCon in Orlando at the Orlando Convention Center.
And we are performing on the 12th. So if you decide, I don't know which day to get it in, the 12th might be nice. From what I understand.
Saturday, if they want to spend the extra $25 and see the 3 companions do a special show, that Saturday is for them. Yeah. But if you want to see us, Sunday.
Yes, and by all means, come down to the vendors section. We will be with the Geeks of Comedy at their booth.
Yes, we will.
Patrick, Mark, and I think Sam will be roaming around the place there. That with all 4 of us will be there in some form or fashion. But if you want to come and geek out with us before the show, come by our booth and see us.
Don't forget that same weekend, if you're kind of stuck on the West Coast and can't make it to MegaCon, you're more than welcome. Swing by Reno. Come to the second meeting of the Weekend TARDIS Reno group.
And speaking of Weekend TARDIS, next weekend on the 22nd in South Florida, in Davie, Florida to be specific, is the original Weekend TARDIS meeting. We're going to be showing 2 episodes of your best 10 years of Doctor Who episodes. We were taking a vote, and I will be playing the winners on the big screen at Ye Old Falcon Pub. So be there at 12 noon in Davie on the 22nd of March. It's going to be fun. It's a fun year for Doctor Who. It's always a fun time, but 10 years is going to be a fun anniversary, just like 50 was 2 years ago. All right, so folks, that's about all the time we have for today's show. We want to make sure you come back next week. Like I said, we will be doing a special show all about 10 years of Doctor Who. Go to our Facebook page, Mark Who 42's Whoniverse. Tweet us at Mark Who 42. If you want to listen to old shows, go to markwho42.net, iTunes, Geekcast-Radio-network, Florida-Geek-scene. We are all over the place. You can listen to our old shows. You can go to markwho42.net and join the Whoniverse Army, and you can be a part of a great website. We're advancing it, little by little. We have news, we have birthdays, and we post our podcasts when they come out. You're listening to Mark Who 42's Whoniverse here on Krypton Radio. Let's say goodbye to everyone. I'm Mark Baumgarten. We got Christian-basel. We got Trish-helm. We got Eduardo-m-Freyre. We are all here. Any final words, guys?
And I just I'm happy to announce another way that you can listen to the podcast. In addition to all that, we're also going to do like an old spy movies and sit on park benches in disguise. So, just come look for us and be sure to have the secret password.
As long as Ruth Buzzy doesn't come and hit us with a purse. Okay, so no one...
Why do you keep doing that? Why do you keep doing that?
I'm just showing how old I am.
Yeah. As old as that joke.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, that is...
Geriatrics.
Wow.
Oh, Artie Johnson, where are you to save my life?
I don't think he wants to.
No, nothing's going to save that joke. So. We're done here, right?
I don't think you need Artie Johnson. I think what you need is the Colonel from Monty Python going, "What was that? That made absolutely no sense.
Stop it, stop it, stop it.
Exactly.
Okay, any final words?
Trish, save us.
No.
No. Trish has no words. Trish never has a final word.
It's like, I can't have any final words because I'm just sitting here in amazement at you guys.
Well, thank you. That's a compliment.
Sometimes it's a compliment, sometimes it's not.
Was it a compliment this time?
Oh, let me think about it. I'll let you know next week.
All right, well, she'll let us know next week. Until next week, guys, so long. You'll listen to us next time here on Marku 42. Marku 42's Universe has been written and presented by Mark Baumgarten, Trish-helm, Eduardo-m-Freyre, and Christian-basel. This show was edited, produced, and directed by Mark Baumgarten. Please visit marku42.net and register to join and be a part of the Universe Army. We can be contacted by email at mark@marku42.net with the subject line ? If you have worked on Doctor Who or are working on a project relating to Doctor Who and want to be on our radio show, please email our media relations director, Christian-basel, at marku42media@yahoo.com. Doctor Who and its properties are owned by the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation. This show is owned and copyrighted by Mark Baumgarten, 2015. You're listening to Krypton Radio.